This is Support is Sexy, episode 149, and today we're going to talk about commitment over convenience. Welcome to Support is Sexy. I'm your host, Elayne Fluker, entrepreneur, author, and founder of Chic Rebellion Media. 5 days a week, Monday through Friday, I interview inspiring women entrepreneurs who share their wins and their lessons to help you take your business and your life to the next level and create something sexy. Here we go. Most people want the convenience of transformation without the inconvenience required for transformation. If you want to have a conviction for something, you have to sign up to be inconvenienced. And that is from Lisa Nichols. Thank you all so much for being here for the Support is Sexy podcast. We're starting off with that quote from Lisa Nichols because today we're talking about commitment over convenience. And if you've been listening all week, and I appreciate you for being here because you know it wouldn't be the same without you. But if you've been listening all week, you know that we've been talking a lot about vision, thinking about your plans for the rest of 2017. I talked about what's up with you because it's nearing the end of January and we want to know how we're moving forward or what our vision is for the remainder of the year and even moving beyond that, but really thinking about what's up for this year. We talked about our vision, getting clear on the destination, what we want to see and what we want to create in our lives. And yesterday on Wednesday, we talked about blockage. What kind of things are standing in the way? What kind of things are we using as an excuse that we're masquerading as fear, but it's really these blocks that are behind it, these different things that are standing in our way, not even standing in our way, these different things that are present that we're allowing to stand in our way of moving forward. So today, now that we've gotten through all of that, I want to talk about how committed are you to your vision? How committed are you to moving past whatever those blocks are that we talked about yesterday? How committed are you to whatever is up with you, to the things that you're planning, you're talking about, you're maybe telling everyone or just telling yourself that you're going to do all these things that you put on your vision board, not to be overwhelmed by them, but how committed are you to seeing it through? Are you committed enough, as Lisa Nichols says, to sign up to be inconvenienced? Because when you're going after your dream, especially if it's a quote unquote big dream, and by big dream, it doesn't mean by everyone else's measurements, but just are you stretching? Are you really pushing to achieve something that you've never even, or maybe you've only even imagined going after before, but you've never really taken a step toward it? Is that the big thing that you're going for? How far are you willing to go? Are you willing to be inconvenienced? Are you willing to maybe be embarrassed sometimes? Are you willing to stumble through things and not know what you're doing? I always say sometimes you got to break shit in order to figure things out and learn what you need to do, figure out how it works or how it doesn't work. Sometimes you got to break things and figure things out. Are you willing to do all of that to make your dreams a reality? This is something that I think about. I think probably more now than ever since relocating from New York to Atlanta, in part to be closer to family, closer to my elderly parents who were here, which is wonderful to be able to be with them and have a business or a life that can move in that way. And then the other part of that, for me, it is a big cut in my expenses, leaving New York and coming to Atlanta, which is a lot less expensive, which is fantastic and always good. But I will tell you, there are things about it. I've been here for a couple months now that are inconvenient. The weather is wonderful, but there are things that are inconvenient. Now, these are first world problems. I'm not going to act like these are problems. I'm strictly talking about convenience. And for me, the convenience is a major change in lifestyle. Simply by the way that is the New York City life, I was able to walk everywhere. When I wanted to go for a run, I left out of my apartment and I went for an 8-mile run. Never had to think about it, never had to go the same way twice. I did whatever I wanted to do, could go wherever I wanted to go in that moment. Now it requires some arrangements just because mainly where I'm located, there aren't a lot of places that you can necessarily walk to before you run out of sidewalk. So that's just one example. Being mobile, being able to run to the store, being able to do all of these things that were so convenient that I honestly took for granted before are not convenient here. And in the same way, even seeing friends or colleagues or people that I know here, there's a lot more to arrange in order to do that. Again, first world problems, actually not even problems, just a matter of convenience. And then there's the other part of it, being in New York, I was working in media for several years. I had risen up through the ranks, so to speak, as they say, making a great salary, 6 figures a year. Was at a point, as I talked about before, where I was offered something that probably would have been yet another 6-figure salary. It was right before I was launching the podcast, and it was very tempting to go ahead and roll into that familiar thing, that thing that's already known, that thing that is convenient. But I made a different choice. I signed up to be inconvenient. And by inconvenient, what I mean is taking a big cut in pay or salary or income at that time in order to work on this dream, the dream of the podcast, the dream of building the Supported Sexy brand, the dream of having the flexibility to do the things that I need to do in order to make this work. For me, and there's no job shaming around here, so nothing's wrong with being at a 9 to 5, 10 to 6, whatever time you work. For me, being locked into a full-time position at that level, if you're entry level or middle management, it's a little bit easier. But when you're in a certain position or at a certain level, there's a lot required for you. It just is what it is. And you know what? A company has its expectations. So you need to be present. You need to be available. You need to be there in order to do the things you need to do for the team to be successful. Well, I had done that for 20 years. I loved it. I'm great at it. That's why I used to get all of these great positions. Thank God. Very blessed for that. But it was time for a change. And I knew that in order to make that change, in order to make that shift, I was going to have to sign up to be inconvenienced. Sign up to not get your nails done all the time. Sign up to not have that cute little pedicure. Sign up to not get that $400 haircut. Sign up to not have all the new bags and shoes and other superficial things. And I did plenty of that when I was in my 20s. I still have those bags, actually. But I had to give up all of that, as well as location, living in New York, having the 2-bedroom apartment, having the convenience of being able to run out in Brooklyn and see friends and go for a run and all of these things. It has been a big change. Now, not saying all of this to say that I'm special or I deserve any special reward, just an example of how far you're willing to go in order to stick to your commitment to yourself. We stick to commitments to everybody else, but how far are you willing to go to stick to commitment to yourself? I even talk to some friends sometimes and tell them about things that I'm going through, or, oh, I'm not going to do that, or I'm saving money for this, or I'm going to this conference, or whatever I'm trying to do or create or make happen in order to continue to support this dream. And I have friends who have actually said, oh, girl, I can never do that. And I admit I have moments where I think, wow, what am I doing? But then I check myself and I remember I am signing up to be inconvenienced in order to stick to my commitment. Now, this isn't saying that this is a space that you want to stay in forever. The inconvenience that you're going through, in your mind that, as we talked about earlier, you have a vision for where this is going to take you. So you're willing to do whatever it takes in this moment, humble yourself, make things happen in whatever way you can, hustle, juggle, whatever that takes, be inconvenienced in order to manifest the vision so that these little inconveniences won't exist anymore. You'll probably have bigger problems, but that'll be when you get down the road. Still, you keep in mind that you're doing this for now. And as my friend Erica has told me, and it's something that I stick with now, for now is not forever. That's what we have to remember. With this inconvenience or whatever you're going through or whatever you're experiencing right now, the struggle that you're having, or money isn't coming in as you thought, or it's taking longer for the business to take off and be successful, or your workshop isn't filling up right now the way you thought it would, or, you're not getting your hair and nails and all of those things done, and you're not going on the trips with your friends like you used to, or going out to drinks, or you've given up your house, or you've given up your apartment. All of these things that you've given up or things that you're deciding to do, you are doing it for now, not forever, because you have this forever vision in mind. You have a vision of the person you're becoming, the person you want to be, and that requires work. And that work could mean, as I said, making some sacrifices. That work could mean, as we talked about earlier this week, letting go of some people, even if it's just for now. That work could mean really coming to terms with things that are blocking you or things that you are letting stand in your way. That work could mean a lot of things, but what it will likely mean, at least for now, is being inconvenienced. And look, not just from a money or cutting back standpoint, it might be that you take on 3 or 4 jobs. You're making more money than ever in order to see your dream manifest. Maybe you need to up your money in order to invest in whatever your dream is. You're building something or creating something that requires an investment. Still, it might be tight, so you might not be able to go to the basketball game with friends or do some of the other things that you used to do because your time is restricted. Still, that is part of an inconvenience. But how committed are you to your dream? Are you willing to be inconvenienced? Are you willing to go through those hard times? Are you willing to go through the struggle? Are you willing to not look as cute or fly or whatever as everybody else for a while so you can make that thing happen? It is what it takes really to be an entrepreneur. Everyone that I know and those that I don't know, those that I follow, read about, I read a lot of autobiographies and biographies of people. Everyone talks about that period that they went through this time where it was just rough and they didn't know if they were going to make it. They didn't know if they even wanted to make it. It was just a hard time or a rough time or just a time of not knowing what was going on, an uncertain time. That's what it was. For a lot of people, there's a period or there are other periods throughout the journey where you're just uncertain. You don't know how you're going to make it. You don't know if you're going to make it. You don't know sometimes if you even want it or if it's worth it. You will go through those periods, but all of those periods are inconvenience just for the time. And as Lisa Nichols says, most people want the convenience of transformation without the inconvenience required for transformation. So if you want to have a conviction for something, you have to sign up to be inconvenienced. So I want you all to think about that. That's the message that I'm going to leave today. Really thinking about how committed are you to your dream? Are you really willing to go there? Or are you like my friend, like, girl, I can't do that. I can't imagine doing that. I would never do that. How committed are you to going there, to making it happen? What will it take? And are you willing to do what it takes to go there? All right. So thank you guys so much, as always, for listening. You know, I appreciate you. Make sure you go to supportissexypodcast.com to see previous episodes that we've done, including interviews with other inspiring women entrepreneurs. And now you know what to do. Go out there and create something sexy, and I'll talk to you soon. Take care.